Live from KSAT12, the news at noon starts right now.
Drivers along 1604 on the north and the northwest side just got a huge break. Plans to shut down this major highway for construction over the weekend just got put on hold.
It's part of a huge expansion project that caused big traffic tie-ups last weekend, but it's no longer happening, at least not yet. Stephen Cavazos with what does lie ahead on the road for drivers.
Big project, busy corridor. The Loop 1604 North Expansion project was designed to help improve traffic along the highway. But this billion-dollar investment in mobility has led to nasty delays because of necessary closures. And there are about 150,000 people that travel through Loop 1604 each and every day. And according to KSAT, that's why this project is so important. It's an investment in mobility and the future.
The growth in San Antonio has been exponential over the past several years. So our engineers have been looking at this area. We're making these improvements to reduce commute times now and in the future.
KSAT Public Information Officer Jennifer Serold explains the project has been divided into 5 segments. That stretches from Bandera Road on the far northwest side of San Antonio to I-35 on the city's northeast side. That's a span of about 23 miles.
You'll see a lot of safety measures along the corridor to encourage drivers to drive cautiously and slow down. That the majority of the major closures will happen at night or on the weekends to lessen impact to the daily traffic.
Part of that plan includes expanding the number of lanes from 4 to 10. And once complete, KSAT predicts drivers' commute will reduce by 50%. But in the meantime, Serold urges drivers to plan ahead.
Make sure you have the information before you know you're going to drive on 1604 so you won't get frustrated.
Although drivers are feeling the pinch now, Serold reminds them good things come to those who wait.
Just remember that it'll all be worth it in the end.
Stephen Cavazos, KSAT 12 News.
Now, we have reached out to KSAT about the change of plans. The agency says the closures planned for Loop 1604 this weekend are being rescheduled due to material issues. So we followed up with KSAT to find out what that means, but so far we have not received a response. We will let you know when and if we get an update. As always, you can find the latest road closure information on our website. You can scan the QR code and go right to our traffic page.
We're looking outside with live cam, getting all set. Not getting.
Wow.
Getting all set for a super hot weekend.
Yes, getting ready. We sure are. Because, the heat is just, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, which I feel like I have been all summer long. But yes, as we head into our peak climatological heating, this is when we expect our hottest temperatures here in South Texas. Things are getting hotter. Let me show you across the country what we've got right now. 98 in Dallas, one of the hot spots just behind Phoenix, which is at 100. But it's going to be sweltering hot, desert Southwest and all of Texas. And there are heat advisories, excessive heat warnings in effect again today. We're at 92 here in San Antonio. 101 in Wichita Falls continues to be a hot spot here in the state. 95 Tyler, 94 down there in Houston. And around our area, already up to 96 in New Braunfels. And look at the heat index. Come on, 105 already at lunchtime. So just a quick reminder, be careful out there. If you are working outside or doing yard work, take it easy. These numbers are not fun. And here in San Antonio today, we're expecting to be up around 104 with the heat index close to 105 at its peak. And yes, it does get a little bit hotter than that going forward. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the tropics, too. It's also a time when we would expect the tropics to be heating up. What's going on there? We'll share that with you coming up in just a few minutes, guys.
Hate seeing those numbers. Thank you so much, Justin. And all this hot and dry weather to blame for scorching 45 acres in San Antonio yesterday. New at noon, a grass fire near a subdivision on I-10 and Foster Road is finally out. Firefighters have been working on this fire near Foster Road yesterday morning, but it's been tough. Crews had to cut a path even to get to the fire, and then they started a back burn in order to control it. A police helicopter was issued to keep an eye on the flames up from up above. And they were finally, flame finally extinguished just before 3 o'clock this morning. No homes damaged and no one hurt.
3 people were struck by a vehicle early this morning in 3 different areas of the city, the northeast side, south side, and west side. 2 of the incidents were deadly. Sarah Costa made it to all 3 scenes and tells us none of the 3 victims were using a crosswalk.
Between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m., I have covered 3 incidents of people getting hit by vehicles. 2 of them have been deadly, including this one behind me here on the city's west side on West Commerce. But first, let's head over to the city's northeast side, where police say that just after 4 this morning, a witness called 911 saying there was a body on the frontage road of Loop 410 right after the Rittiman exit near the Buttercrust Bakery. Shortly after that, the driver who hit that person also called 911, saying he hit a man who was walking in the middle of the access road. The sergeant on scene says that the driver initially didn't stop to render aid and pulled over a little ways down and then called 911. Police say the driver is cooperating with police at this time, and police are trying to determine if how the driver responded to the deadly incident will be considered rendering aid. As for the person who died, police tell me it's a man in his late 20s or 30s, and he was killed on impact. Now to the city's south side. Just after 6 a.m., a man riding a bike was struck by a driver on Pleasanton Road near Southwest Military. Police say the cyclist was crossing the middle of the street and was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The driver stopped to render aid, and police say he won't be facing charges. Then on the city's west side at 6:20 this morning, police say a man in his 60s was crossing West Commerce near South San Felipe, and a driver of a truck didn't see him and hit him. The man crossing not at a crosswalk died on impact. Police say the driver of the truck called 911 and stopped to render aid. That driver won't be facing any charges and is cooperating with traffic investigators. From the west side, I'm Sarah Costa, KSAT12 News.
The man accused of opening fire at a local MLK Day celebration last year could soon be learning his fate. In fact, today, a jury now deliberating in O.L. Wallace's trial. Wallace accused of killing 61-year-old Johnny Mobley and injuring 4 others. Evidence in this case presented this week included eyewitnesses who identified Wallace as the shooter. This morning, the defense still claiming, though, it was self-defense, saying that Wallace was first attacked and that he was not guilty of murder and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. If found guilty, Wallace is facing 5 to 99 years or life in prison. The latest from the courtroom coming up in our later newscasts.
Former President Donald Trump planning to defend against all 4 criminal counts that he conspired to overturn his 2020 election loss and that his actions led to the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
ABC's Justin Finch with how these charges are proving to be one more way of showing how our country is deeply divided.
Minutes after his arraignment in Washington, D.C., former President Donald Trump framing his 3rd indictment as a political attack.
This is the persecution of the person that's leading by very, very substantial numbers in the Republican primary.
But in the federal courtroom, it was Trump's alleged crimes, not his political standing, that took center stage. Special counsel Jack Smith's indictment accusing the former president of conspiring with allies to keep him in the White House despite knowing he lost the 2020 election to Joe Biden, with that conspiracy culminating in the January 6th Capitol riot. After keeping Trump waiting for 20 minutes, the circuit court magistrate read Trump's charges aloud. Conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, specifically the January 6th certifying of election results by Congress, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights, meaning he allegedly attempted to deprive people of their right to vote and to have their votes counted. Trump pleaded not guilty to all 4 counts, each carrying a maximum of up to 5 to 20 years in prison. Smith was also in the courtroom, and at one point, Trump was seen staring right at him. The 30-minute hearing ending with Trump's release with conditions, including that he not communicate about the facts of the case with anyone he knows to be a witness except in the presence of or through his counsel. While several Republican lawmakers have criticized the charges against Trump, a new ABC News Ipsos poll finds 65% of Americans believe Trump's election interference charges are serious, including 51% calling them very serious. The same poll finds more than half of Americans surveyed believe Trump should have been charged in the election interference probe. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
The magistrate judge that is setting a date for the pretrial hearing, it will be on August 28th. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, appointed by President Obama, is going to be overseeing that case. Chutkan previously handing down very lengthy sentences to the defendants convicted in her court in other January 6 cases.
One of the Cowboys' top wide receivers says he is good to go physically and maybe even more importantly, mentally.
The demand for nurses growing, and now an education center on the South Side to help people there get a chance to get a nursing degree. Nurses are needed in a big way across the country, and now a $23 million education center on the South Side will start producing more of them.
Tiffany Huerta shows us how it's designed to be a pipeline to a good-paying job for those folks.
The students will be able to practice skills and hands-on, such as blood pressures, bed making, mobility, before they actually go into the healthcare setting.
Donna Wallace, the director of nursing at Palo Alto College, says this new education center aims to prepare locals for high-demand jobs.
It'll bring the opportunity to have an occupation and a living wage and serve others. Most importantly, it's serving your neighbors in your community.
The Southside Education and Training Center will house Palo Alto College's nursing program.
We're starting up a brand new Associates of Applied Science and Nursing program to serve the residents of the South Side and Greater San Antonio.
The center, located near 281 and Martinez-Lozoya Road, will also offer job training and literacy classes.
The center aims to empower the South Side. They have several partners, including Southside ISD, providing opportunities to residents and students right next door.
Wallace says the demand for nurses is expected to grow.
So there's a huge nursing shortage. There's anticipated a gap of over 20%, maybe 30% by 2030. This means that there'll be a need for 60,000 nurses or more in the state of Texas.
The center will host a ribbon cutting next weekend.
Soon, upon approval from the Texas Board of Nursing later this year, we'll be able to accept students next year.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT12 News.
Outside with live cam is why we're inside. Because it's outside.
Because of what's happening outside. Already 94 degrees,
Not a cloud
Justin.
in the sky.
I'm really worried about this weekend. I'm wondering if it's time to bring the plants in, if you gotta bring the animals in.
Yeah, you know, I've been trying to water some of those outdoor plants, and now I'm like feeling it's not. I don't even know if it's worth it at this point. It's just so tough, and the grass is just dry. We're running into some fire concerns. It is starting to get worse and worse as we go on here. The aquifer is down 0.3 of a foot to 627.6. And we had an article about the Comal Springs. If you want to check that out on our website, where we talk about the flow going down there a little bit as well. Molds are low at 370. We'll talk about this drought situation. And when temperatures, when will they ever cool down? We'll take a look coming up.
Do you have it? Do you have lotto fever?
I have lotto tickets.
Okay, well, then you've got lotto fever then. The big Mega Million drawing tonight, $1.25 billion up for grabs.
God, that's going to be so much fun to spend. No ticket matched all 5 numbers plus the mega ball in Tuesday night's drawing. The jackpot has been rolling since it was last won back in April. This is the 4th highest prize ever in the game's history.
However, after taxes, the big prize will only be worth about $625 million if you take the lump sum option, which she would do, and then she takes the lump sum and then she takes us to dinner. I don't know where that steak place is.
Think how much fun that would be.
For you to take us to dinner?
Big old lottery steak dinner.
That would be a fun dinner.
Although he would probably want like vegetarian.
No.
Not if you won the lottery. If you were buying
you would buy the steak?
The most expensive one.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yes, that money would be very fun to spend. In your dreams, Ursula, I hate to break it to you.
Big old tomahawk.
That does sound good.
What's the most expensive wine they have in the wine cellar?
That too. Just keep
Man.
adding it. Just keep adding it on.
And dessert.
One thing we know for sure, guys, and we just put out a story, we just pushed it to your phones about fire safety and the fire concerns that we're starting to get into here. Grass fires are becoming a bigger and bigger concern every day. It's no surprise as to why. we see our lawns, right? Everything is brown and crunchy, and that will catch fire quickly. We get some gusty winds, and these things can spread. So here are the current wildfires that we know of from the Texas Forest Service. Several counties, some down in deep South Texas, Central Texas. Blanco County was the newest one that came in. And look, there are smaller ones that are not part of this map that are taken care of by local fire departments, but there are many out there, and you get up into Wise and Denton County up north, there are several. 3,500 acres burned just yesterday from these fires. So we know that this can even get a little bit worse when you look at these fire dangers, and where you see these dark orange colors, that's where we could see the greatest risk today. This is from the Texas Forest Service, by the way. And a little closer look here at South Texas. We're in the moderate to high range, but I would say anywhere you go, there is a risk there. And once we get some stronger, gustier winds, once we get into the fall, could even be a bigger concern. But that's where we stand today. Yes, it is hot, but I will tell you, climatologically speaking, this is the hottest time of the year. So this graph shows you the average temperatures that go throughout the year. January, we average 62 degrees. We peak, though, right in mid-August. And then by the end of the month, temperatures start to fall off, at least the averages do, because we start to see fronts. So we're almost there, guys. We're at the top of the roller coaster here, and we're going to start going down the other side soon. But just know that the next 7 days are going to be brutally hot. We know that. We've had 38 days so far this year of 100 degrees or more. So that puts us firmly in 5th place, but I can guarantee you we will move up to 4th place here soon. And then the question becomes, do we get 3rd, 2nd, or 1st? Hopefully we don't get any of them. Maybe we don't get there. That would be great, but we do know we're going to at least move into 4th place going forward. 104 today. It's another day in the triple digits. 103 Canyon Lake, 103 San Marcos, 102 at Honda, 103 in Uvalde. Everyone will be in the triple digits, and we're working our way there now. 92 right now, mostly sunny. Dew point is at 69. Feels like 97. Heat index is an important number right now because the dew points are still high, so it feels like it's in the upper 90s here in town. Feels like 105 in New Braunfels. Feels like 99 in Canyon Lake. As it has been the last several days, we'll see things kind of level out with that heat index as we get into the afternoon and the air dries out a little bit. Regardless, heat is heat, and it is going to be another scorcher today. 102 at 3 o'clock. Again, we top out at 104, and it probably takes until 9 p.m. for us to drop back below 100, if you can believe that. And then it will take until probably midnight for us to get down into the mid-80s. It is another CPS Energy yellow day. We've got to do some conservation with the Texas grid likely being taxed this afternoon. Best times to do that between 3 and 8 p.m. And as we look at the futurecast here, high pressure still very much in control. It strengthens, grows, keeps us very, very toasty. In fact, I think temperatures will jump up even more Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. All of next week is going to be very, very hot. The question is, beyond that, do we finally see some relief? There are some hints at that, but I'll tell you, long-term models, we just can't trust them. So we're not going to jump on that just yet. Just keep it in the back of your mind. Hey, maybe a week from this weekend, things will start to change a little bit. But in the meantime, this is what we have to look forward to. 104, 105, take your pick going forward, guys.
I don't think there's much difference between the two.
There's not.
I'm trusting Justin before I trust any long-term model. Good. Cowboys wide receiver group is one of the best in the NFL now that they're all healthy coming up. And speaking of health, a Texan wide receiver talks about getting cleared after recovering from cancer.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
We have been talking about Dallas Cowboy wide receiver Michael Gallup throughout training camp. Physically, he is over his injuries from back in 2021. And now he says he's 100% mentally, which is bad for other teams. He tore his ACL late in the 2021 season, made it back last season, and then played 14 games, but says he wasn't mentally all the way there. Now he is completely back, and he is excited to see how DBs will try to cover him, along with CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks, the boys' top 3 receivers.
Hey, that's going to be tough for them. I'm ready to see what they're going to do. That's going to be tough, though. You put 2 folks over Cooks or CD, somebody getting open, somebody getting the ball. Then you got TP coming out the back. Oh, my gosh. It's ridiculous.
Let's hope so. Cowboys quarterback Trayvon Diggs is back in team drills. He picked off Dak Prescott. Diggs, who's dealing with a bruised toe, says he feels good and that he is almost 100%. Looks pretty good there. The feel-good story coming out of Houston, Texas training camp is wide receiver John Mechie III. He missed all of his rookie season after he was diagnosed with leukemia. He wasn't sure if he'd ever play again, but he's back in camp and feeling good. He was asked about the moment he was medically cleared to play.
Just gratitude. I think that's pretty much what the whole moment was like, just gratitude. I was really grateful that day that I was just able to come out here and start playing the game I love again, worry-free. Just able to play ball, not have to worry about much, but just playing ball. So I was really grateful that day.
Mechie added that he feels 100%. Hey, coming up, experts think this year parents will spend more on back-to-school shopping. 5 things to keep in mind if you're looking to save a few bucks. And the summer heat has a lot of people reaching for a bottle of water, but too much of a good thing can be bad for you. Warning from one family about drinking too much water in a very short time span.
This heat wave still cooking 65 million Americans coast to coast. In the Houston area, an example of just how dangerous the summer heat can be. A couple and their dog found dead. They were found inside a mobile home just days after their AC unit had failed. The intense heat inside that metal structure creating an incubator for extreme heat. The couple's daughter says she thinks her parents just were not aware that the effects of the heat could be deadly on them.
I don't think they had the knowledge of what the difference is between just being really hot or heat exhaustion and having a heat stroke.
And the heat not just impacting people, it's putting crops and livestock at risk. Ranchers turning to cryotherapy and large fans to cool off their animals.
A family sharing their story to warn people about water toxicity. ABC's Ariel Reschiff tells us their warning comes after a woman died from drinking too much water too fast.
The family of 35-year-old mother of 2, Ashley Summers, speaking out to warn others after she passed away over the 4th of July weekend from what doctors told them was water intoxication.
At one point during the day, she started getting a bad headache. So she was drinking a lot of water.
Ashley's brother saying she was spending the holiday at the lake with her family when she started to feel intensely dehydrated. So she drank the equivalent of 4 16-ounce bottles of water in just 20 minutes. That's the amount doctors say an average adult woman should consume in an entire day.
She felt dizzy and had this headache. They got home. She walked across the garage to go into the house and she passed out in the garage.
Water intoxication is a rare but dangerous condition caused by drinking too much water too fast, which upsets the electrolyte balance in the body. It can present with confusion, disorientation, nausea, and vomiting. Doctors say early detection is key.
The general recommendation is, 2 liters of water per day on average per person. And that's throughout the day. But you also don't want to consume more than 1 liter per hour.
Ashley's family now trying to turn her sudden and tragic loss into a life-saving lesson.
If she would have spaced out her water consumption, she probably would be alive today.
So hydrate, but don't hydrate too much too fast.
That's the key. And make sure you drink something that's got something other than it just water too. You gotta have some electrolytes back in your body as well. So especially in this mess.
Our other meteorologist, Adam Caskey, is a firm believer in pickle juice.
That too. It does work. And man, do whatever you need to do to get through this heat because it is very intense right now. And it's covering a large amount of real estate, okay? So it's not just Texas, it's a large portion of the country. We got to be really, really careful. And it's all due to our ridge-fied pressure, which is just does not want to move. It is stuck. It's moving around a little bit, but not far enough away to where it will give us some relief here. So everything's working up and around our ridge. There are some showers and storms out there, but you got to go up to Oklahoma and over to parts of Mississippi before you find any rain. And underneath this high, this is where we have all of our excessive heat warnings and heat advisories from Texas up to Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, and out over the desert Southwest as well. Our forecast today, 100 at 2 o'clock. 102 at 3 p.m. We're up around 104 mostly sunny, down to 102 by 7 o'clock. Maybe we drop below 100 by 8 p.m. Really, if you're going to do the evening walk, it's almost to the point where you have to wait till about 8:15. I know it's getting dark at that point, but there is just very little relief. And going forward, we're going to see some even hotter temperatures. We'll look at that, plus the tropics. It's that time of year where things should start heating up. What's the latest there? We'll fill you in here in just a couple minutes.
Thank you so much, Justin. The Biden administration can continue to stop migrants who pass through another country from seeking asylum in the United States. That controversial asylum policy blocked last week by a district judge. However, yesterday, the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled to allow the administration to continue carrying out that policy. The appeals court said it would expedite its consideration of the case. Democrats and immigration advocates have criticized both the Trump-era policy and the similar Biden administration policy that took its place.
Now to the alibi from the man accused of killing 4 Idaho college students last year. Brian Kohberger says he went for a late-night drive alone on the night of the murders. ABC's Mola Lenge with how his legal team is handling the unusual alibi.
Brian Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 Idaho college students, offering an alibi, claiming he was in his car when the murders happened. Kohberger's attorney saying in a new court filing, Mr. Kohberger has long had a habit of going for drives alone. Often he would go for drives at night. However, he is not claiming to be at a specific location at a specific time, and that there is not a specific witness to say precisely where he was.
When a defendant puts forth an alibi, it is something or someone that can identify them in some place other than the scene of the crime. In this particular case, his alibi, he was driving alone, does not give a precise thing or person that can place him somewhere else. So that's the question the judge must determine, is whether or not that can actually be used as an alibi.
Last week, the court required Kohberger to state where he was on the night Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Zainer Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin were murdered. The defense says they will use witness testimony during trial to show his whereabouts.
The defense is attempting to say that they can prove that this alibi of him driving alone can be substantiated by cross-examining witnesses that will be put on at trial. This is contradictory to the fact that typically an alibi is a particular place, an item, or someone that can identify you at a current place or time.
In June, the defense asked prosecutors to turn over cell phone data, which allegedly showed Kohberger at the crime scene. They also want to know about evidence placing Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra near the crime scene, along with relevant genetic testing. They say 3 other male DNA profiles were found at the scene. But the state says Kohberger's DNA, taken from a cheek swab, is a statistical match to DNA found on the knife sheath discovered underneath Madison Mogen. Kohberger charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary, remaining silent in court, a judge pleading not guilty on his behalf.
Kohberger's next hearing is scheduled for August 18th. The trial is scheduled to begin October 2nd. Prosecutors say they plan to seek the death penalty. Mola Lenge, ABC News, Denver.
Students and parents starting their back to school shopping, and it can be easy to rack up a lot of charges. How to save some cash while you prepare for the upcoming school year.